Welcome in section 3 of Practical JavaScript with jQuery 3.x course. In the previous section we have learned selectors and filters. We know how to create a dynamic content, manipulate document object model, and respond to the user actions with events. So in this section at the beginning we are going to cover effects. We will create a slideshow with Fadein and Fadeout effects. Then using animation, we are going to improve application components. We will replace mock data with remote data using Ajax. Next, we will cover the third object, and at the end, we are going to recap our project. I will tell you how we can improve application environment, pros and cons of using jQuery, etc. So in this video we are going to mainly focus on basic effects, and then we'll create slideshow with Fadein Fadeout effects. Our app.js file looks messy, so we can remove the code below the init navigation function. Now we can go to the navigation.js. jQuery provides a various kind of amazing effects. Furthermore, jQuery methods allow us to quickly apply commonly used effects with a minimum configuration. So the very first method that we are going to test is a hide method. And let's say we want to hide a header title, so we can select a header title and now call a hide method that takes two arguments. The first argument is duration, and it could be a number or string, so we can pass at 2000 milliseconds. And as a second argument, pass a function that calls once the animation is complete. So you can type an arrow function, which returns a console.logout, a message completed. Save that, go to our application, and as you can see, whenever we refresh, the header title is hiding, and it takes 2 seconds. Apart from hide method, we can use a show method. So let's copy and paste that, change hide to show, and the show method display an element which is hidden. So we can save that, go to our application console, and as you can see, whenever we refresh an application, first we are hiding a header title, which takes 2 seconds, and then we are showing the header title, which also takes 2 seconds. So we can go back to our code editor, and as you can see, we are selecting a header title twice, which is quite redundant. So we can create for that a variable called $header title, and assign it to the header title selector, and replace a header title selector with a variable. And also we can create for that a function called toggle header title, which is an arrow function. In the function body, you can paste that. And also we have to fire it in the init navigation function. Save that, go to our application, and as you can see, a hide and show method works. Instead of show and hide, we can use Fadein and Fadeout jQuery effects methods. So what is the difference? We can describe the difference in these steps. So show and hide control the display property and animate with and hide in between. When it comes to the Fadein and Fadeout methods, these methods only control the display property. The very next thing we are going to do is create a simple slideshow. So go to the index.html and first create the HTML markup for that slideshow. So below the player list, let's create a div with a class row. And inside that div, create a slideshow wrapper. So create a div and type in a class slideshow bottom dash wrapper. And in that slideshow wrapper, create a a slideshow item. So again, create a div and provide a class slideshow bottom dash dash item. Well, let's say we want to have an image in that item, so create an image and just paste a random src, and we can copy slideshow item and paste that 3 times and provide some text below the image, for instance player 1, 2, 3 and 4. Save that, go to our application. As you can see, there are 4 slideshow items. Now we have to add some CSS styles to the slideshow. So first let's copy the slideshow wrapper, go to the app.scss. For the slideshow wrapper, set position to relative. Then we have to hide all slideshow items except the first one. So type slideshow item, and using CSS pseudo classes type not and first child. For that selector, set position to absolute, top to 0, and of course display to none. Save that, go to our application, and as you can see, only the first slideshow item is displayed. The last thing we have to implement is a jQuery logic. So go to the teaminfo.js module, and at the end of the file create a function called init slideshow, which is an arrow function, and in the function body first call a setInterval function because we want to change to the next slideshow item every, for example, 3 seconds. And as an argument pass an arrow function. In the function body, select the first slideshow item. To do that, we can use jQuery first filter. On that element, fire Fadeout. And as I mentioned before, in the course, most of the jQuery methods return selected collection, so we can chain methods. And because we want to point to the next slideshow item, we can use next method. On that element, fire Fadein. So now, the first slideshow item will fade out, and the next element will fade in. We are almost done, but we have to move the first slideshow item to the end of the wrapper queue. And because we are pointing to the next element, we have to go back, so we can use end method. And now we can append to our first slideshow item to the wrapper. So in that case, it will be a dot slideshow bottom dash dash wrapper. And also provide a second argument in the setInterval, the delay. So in that case, it will be 3000 milliseconds. Also, we have to export that function, and you can use that in the app.js. So import init slideshow and fire after navigation. Save that. Go to our application, and as you can see, our simple slideshow works and it looks pretty nice. In this video, we have learned jQuery show, hide, fade in and fade out effects. We have also created a simple slideshow with fade in and fade out. In the next video, we will be working with jQuery animation.